Hi, everybody, and welcome to the newest installment of our monthly webinars. I am happy to be here. We're going to be talking about your 2026 digital marketing plan. And what we're going to go over is where you are now, where you want to be, and how you can get there using digital marketing on your local marketing, paid ads, any of the different things like that. We're going to go over the whole program, the plan for you so you can prepare for 2026 and hit your goals. There'll be, we do have a workbook included today. So what I'm going to do is jump into my computer and let's get started. I hope you're excited to make your 2026 your best year yet. Let's jump into my computer. All right, great. How about put a 1 in the chat if you can see my screen. Just want to make sure that you guys are seeing the screen. That's your 2026 digital marketing plan, how to maximize your lead flow in the new year. I'm excited to go over this and help you guys get ready. So what we're going to do for this session is we're going to set our goals and our targets for the upcoming year. We're going to realign our KPIs and tracking to achieve those outcomes, map out a plan because we want to accomplish our goals, which is going to include our budget, the channels that you're going to be marketing on, important trends that we're dealing with, and how AI impacts SEO right now, and set up for you for massive success in 2026 and beyond. So we do have a workbook for you today. So if you go to lawmarketingzone.com/2026-plan, you'll be able to get the workbook and the worksheets that we're going to talk about that'll help you out with this planning. And who am I and why should you listen to me? Well, I'm Marilyn Jenkins. I'm the CEO of MJ Media Group and Law Marketing Zone. I'm the author of 3 books on Amazon, including the newly released 2026 Local SEO Playbook for Law Firms, and it is updated with all the AI search information that you need. I'm also the host of the Global Top 3% podcast, The Leadership in Law, host the syndicated cable TV show, The Marketing Zone on nowmedia.tv networks. I've been in digital marketing since the early 90s, and I've worked with hundreds of law firms and local businesses. I'm exclusively working with attorneys since 2018, and I've helped clients grow into multiple 7 figures in retainers using our programs. So we're well versed in many of the practice areas to help law firms grow. The case model works on 3 main pillars to drive growth. So it's 3 clear steps to triple your sales and getting your internet marketing right. We work with 1 pillar of driving leads, also maximizing conversions, and then optimizing results. And we're going to go over the different pieces of this today. If you want to see what my clients say about me and working with my team, you can visit lawmarketingzone.com and see our videos, as well as mjmediagroup.co, and get a good idea of what some of the people have been saying about working with us. Our goal is to triple the revenue of 500 law firms in the next 3 years. We are a full-service digital marketing agency for law firms, and our team is here to support you every step of the way. So let's dive into your 2026 digital marketing plan and how to maximize your lead flow in the new year. So the biggest marketing trends, so let's talk about this because I know a lot of people are interested in the growing popularity of AI. So we should focus on Google, but also with ChatGPT being baked into Bing results, you want to consider how you're ranking on Bing and ChatGPT directly. We can help you with an AI visibility search with that. We want to make sure that we're using online scheduling so that our clients can directly book with you without having to necessarily get on the phone with someone. Obviously, 2-way text messaging is huge. A lot of the clients prefer to communicate via text versus a call. And then using AI lead follow-up, especially with a 2-way text messaging. AI voice receptionist very soon is coming to be. We do have these tools now that are working out really, really well, so we do have those options if you want to talk about that. And of course, the big thing is authentic video content. It answers questions and positions you as an expert. I know a lot of you don't like to do video, but it's one of the most best ways you can get your know, like, and trust factor built up with your audience. So first off, let's talk about setting clear goals. What we want to do is make sure that you know what your goals are, because like Brian Tracy says, success is goals, all else is commentary. So without a goal, you're simply adrift at sea, right? You don't know where you're going, you're just working day to day, making sure the bills are paid. What you want to do is you want to set goals so that you're able to reach those goals, whether it's your, paying for your next vacation, buying that car you want, investing in another associate, any of those types of things, okay? So clear goals are wind in your sails. So go grab the workbook if you haven't done that yet. If you already have the workbook, go ahead and drop a 2 in the chat. I'd love to see if you've gotten the workbook, and then there'll be links in there to the spreadsheet and those types of things that we can work with from there. So let's look at your current snapshot. Where are you now? So what we want to do is check and see, okay, you need to grab your numbers so you know how to build your goals, right? What's your monthly revenue now? And how many number of cases does it take to get to that point? So now what you need to know from there is what's your average case value, average number of conversion of leads that come in, and then you know the number of leads you need per month. So if you know the number of leads you're getting right now for these numbers, that will give you an idea of what you need going forward. So what we want to do is we want to review your objectives and your priorities, analyze the numbers, of course look at your strengths, your weaknesses, and of course any trends that you want to roll into. What are the current projects that you're working on, and maybe new projects you're thinking about? Are those good? Should you start, stop, or keep some? Should some of those be reprioritized? And thinking about your top 5 or 1 of 5 for each quarter. So you can make your projects, roll them into the year so they make more sense for you and your team, not to overstress the team yet still be able to grow. So again, have a look at these. Get these numbers down so you have an idea of your current average monthly value, what it's taking you to get there, or monthly revenue, and what it's taking you to get there. So we have an idea of the numbers to go forward with. So now what's your long-term vision? What do you want your annual revenue to be? How many team members do you need to support that? And then of course, I always like asking the question, why? And it makes a big difference. You can lean onto your goals a lot further if you know the why. Do you want to spend more time with your family? Do you want to grow your firm with additional associates or additional team members? What is your goal to reach, or the reason for reaching this current revenue goal that you have? Now in the workbook you can see we have a sheet here that you can put your annual targeted goal in. And then all you want to do is fill in the white boxes, okay? And then that's going to give you the number of referrals you need, especially if you know the average case value, how many signed clients, all of these things. All this calculation happens for you. And then you can see how much an average cost of generated lead should be and what your monthly budget should be required for advertising to hit that. But you'll need to know how many new clients you need. What is your conversion rate for, are you closing 50% of the leads that come in? So those types of things, fill that out and get your number. So then you'll have a good idea of the lead generation targeting, what you're going to need, what your cost basis is going to be, okay? Again, knowing your goals, that is something that can be measured and you can work with and grow from. Harvard study says that 84% of businesses have no specific goals. 13 have their goals written down. And only 3% have clear written goals and plans to accomplish them. So we want to make sure that you are definitely in that top 3%. You want to know where you are and know where you're going and how to get there. In the workbook, we have a marketing budget planner, and within here you can say what your average value is or projected revenue is. Look at your marketing budget, how much do you want to spend, and that will break that down. And when you look at the top left corner, you can decide if you want to do online marketing, offline marketing, and then of course repeat business is going to be things like retargeting and working to get more referrals. So this, if you fill out, the white part in the top corner, it's going to break down everything for you and give you numbers to go by on a month-to-month basis. So have a look at that. You can see what you want to be spending on SEO, PPC, display. PPC is Google Ads. So have a look at the sheet. Play with the numbers a little bit, see what you need to do to hit your goals and what percentage of marketing budget you need to reach that, and then you can plan accordingly. Law firms should spend 8 to 18% of projected revenue on marketing to reach their goal. That's goal revenue. So this depends on, like say if you're an estate planning firm, it's around 8%. If you're personal injury, you're looking at 18 to even more, 25% in a very competitive market. So the National Law Review did publish an article that's linked to on our Law Marketing Zone in the resources, so feel free to jump over and read that. And so the question is, how much are you currently spending on marketing? And are you spending what you need to keep your revenue where it is, or should you be spending more to grow? Because if you're not spending to grow, you're simply staying the same or shrinking. So what's your marketing strategy? Let's go into the entire digital marketing strategy that you should be considering, and we're going to talk about each piece and how that works with your goals. This is the case model for law firm growth, and we're going to talk about the pillars that we went over earlier. We have 3 pillars of this campaign, of our program, is to drive leads, maximize your conversions, and optimize your results. And what we want to talk about right now is the organic SEO part of that. And this is where we're going to talk about SEO. So does SEO still matter? And I know there's a lot of confusion, conversation about, AI and ChatGPT and all these different things. And when it comes to you being a consumer, what are you doing? Are you searching Google, or are you going to ChatGPT? Because even if you go to ChatGPT, there's a lot of that data that's being pulled from Google or Bing. So the search engines are still holding the data. So when you ask yourself, does SEO still matter? Let's look at what Google says. Google says the Google Maps, when you're a consumer and you're out and you're searching for something locally, 50 to 80% of you will click on the maps, right? 10 to 20% click on the ads at the top, and only 5 to 10% go into the organic, which is down below. So you're losing business to your competitors if you aren't showing up in the top 3 on the Google Maps when consumers are searching for your business, okay, or a business like yours. So what SEO still matters, definitely. And if you're interested in grabbing my new book, it is for, if you want to DIY this, you pick up a copy of the book. It walks through everything when it comes to organic, SEO, and those types of things. And even I talk a bit about paid ads, but a lot about AI in here. It covers all aspects of local marketing, so I know you'll find it valuable. So you can pick a copy of that up. That's the Amazon link there. If you'd like, take a screenshot and you can go to that link, or you can just Google Marilyn Jenkins and Amazon.com. If you prefer to have somebody else and talk about this, you can book some time with me at Law Marketing Zone at lawmarketingzone.com/book-a-call. So what about AEO and GEO? Well, there's a lot of letters and acronyms that are happening now in SEO with all these new advancements, and AEO is simply answer engine optimization, right? So it focuses on creating content that answers common questions in common language. So like when someone says, how long does a divorce take in Tennessee? If you have something on your website that's asked that question and answers it, that's going to get indexed and used when someone says, hey Google or Siri or something like that, okay? GEO stands for Generative Engine Optimization. It's an emerging practice, so talking about AI engines, but again, the AI engines are getting their data and building their data from places like Google, but the GEOs are kind of going like ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity with its own browser, Amazon, Microsoft Copilot, and the other large language models like that. Obviously, Meta has one, Twitter has one, so there's lots of different ones out there that are coming to light. Okay, so if we look at the difference of seeing what people are using Google for and ChatGPT for, we can see in this diagram here showing that for informational searches, it's a lot. For Google, it's a lot. But the navigational is where it beats out ChatGPT. So a lot of people are using ChatGPT obviously for information, asking questions, and growth that way, information. But for navigation, it's still using Google. Most people are still using Google. And then of course, commercial and transactional intent is a bit much smaller. That is now. That could be changing, obviously, but this is what it looks like now. So Google obviously is still the king for direct service-based searches and local intent. So when people want to find a divorce attorney near me, a personal injury attorney near me, they're still going to Google for that. Geo-driven platforms are catching up. They're doing like the FAQ style. So we all have FAQs on our websites. I would encourage you to rewrite those into actual human questions like people would normally ask them at a regular language instead of using any technical jargon. And then obviously educational content on your website. articles that are very regular language written, as well as videos with transcripts. So many users are bypassing traditional search by asking the tools directly, because on your phone it's easy to get ChatGPT or some of the other platforms that you can speak to, and they will speak back to you. So it's very important that you show up in both places. The new SEO formula is to figure out what the most important keywords are based on your service area and the search volume. And a few tools you can use for that is the Google Keyword Tool, WordStream, SpyFu, and of course Google Ads forecasting tool. So those are very good choices to use to find out what people are actually using, what people are actually searching to find you or your type of service. And obviously you want to have a great website with unique pages targeting each of these keywords. It's really good to have a page for each service and a page for each city within your service area. And if it qualifies, maybe even a page for a specific neighborhood. So I find out where your ideal client lives, make service pages for that, and then of course optimize your website for your user experience, make sure the speed works and everything is vitally set up. SEO your site, obviously, get your schema, get all of that stuff installed, and make sure that your H1 tags, your metadata, all of those things are set up the way you need them to be. And then start building authority with off-site optimization, and of course track your results. If you've done nothing so far, what I would suggest is doing some reports and find out where you are. If you're not sure about the keyword list and about how you can make pages and keywords to maximize, that has your city and the different ones, I do have a keyword list that that's free. All you have to do is go to keywords.lawmarketingzone.com, and you'll download a PDF of all the permutations of the keywords that would work for your firm. See which ones you're maximizing, see which ones you could do, and keep in mind that longer keyword phrases usually have less competition and get you better leads, okay? And again, like I said, if you're not sure where you are right now, it's good to get a baseline as you're making these plans for 2026. See where you are now and where you want to go, and this way you have a baseline to see where you're doing in the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And I'd be happy to run a ranking report for you. We'll do an analysis of your visibility, both AI and in the search engines, competitive overview, position tracking, find out where you are, your keyword research, any of that kind of stuff. We'd be happy to get those reports for you, and some definitely actions that you can take now. Just book a call with me at lawmarketingzone.com/book-a-call, and what we'll do is go over some details. I'll have my team put together these reports, and then we'll get back together for a 20-30 minute call and go over those and give you the actions you need to take now. Are any of you, if you know where you are as far as your SEO tracking goes, put a 3 in the chat if you have a pretty good handle on your SEO activity and where you're ranking right now, especially your Google Business Profile. Okay, good. I'm seeing a couple of those. That's great. I'm glad to see that we're doing that. It's super important to know where you are and keep track of that. So these are the details when it comes to your SEO. You want to make sure that your pages for each service, like we talked about, optimize your titles, your URLs, and all of these, and optimize your images, and have unique content on the pages, right? And have a blog post going out and syndicate that through different places, your blog, your Google Business Profile. You can do that on Medium. Lots of different places where you can get content going out. Your Google Business Profile. That is absolutely one of the most imperative places you can have your information and have it consistently updated. Put a system in place that drives leads. Add new citations on an ongoing basis. Update it with new photos. All of these different types of things. Reply to every review. All of these little things help tell Google who you are, what searches you should show up for. By far, what we want to do is we want to tell Google that you are the expert, you are the authority, and you should be trusted in your local area with the services that you provide. Right? If you need help with any of this, just reach out. But when you think about, is SEO really important? Well, this is how important it was with our client. Is we saw an increase of over 42% in phone calls, 45% of website visitors. So if you had a 42% increase of calls, how would that impact your profit monthly? I think that's pretty impressive. Making sure that your Google Business Profile is up to date, consistently adding new details to it is very helpful. Additionally, looking at where you are, and this is what we call a heat map, and this number here will tell you where you are on page 1 or not in the Google Maps. So if you have a red X or yellow or orange, you're not on page 1. If you're on page 1, it's going to be 1, 2, or 3. And so what happens is, by doing a good job, you can go from the left not being found to the right being found. And again, we're happy to help with that. Just reach out and we'll have a chat and see how we can help you grow. Again, this is another attorney that went from keyword score of 20 to 2.4. So you see all the red dots on the left? That means they're not showing up in Google Maps. All of a sudden, on the right side, they are. So that's the goal, is to be able to show up in the top 3 map pack search results. Now let's talk about paid search. When we look at the buyer's pyramid in digital marketing, what we're looking at is, your organic foundation. Obviously, this is going to be your website, your Google business profile. The next is going to be paid search, your local service ads, and you can use a lot of automation to manage those leads, nurture those leads, but getting fast to those leads is what's super important. Then, of course, we've got paid directories, pay per lead programs, and then, of course, social ads. You got Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, that sort of thing. So those are the types of things we're talking about with paid. And when you look at search, I know that people go, okay, search, but SEO and paid. So search is going to be things like Google Ads, Google search, business profile extensions, display, YouTube, all of that. This is paid search there. And those people are actively looking for something. They're searching for something. So we look at Google as being higher search intent. You're going to get warmer audiences. They're going to convert quicker. They know they have a problem, and they're looking to solve the problem, okay? So you want to make sure that you get to those leads super quick, because if they have a problem, they know they have a problem, and they're trying to solve it, the first one that solves their problem is going to get their business, okay? Now the other side of this is social media. This is paid ads as well, but looking at that, we're looking at Meta, Facebook, those platforms, Instagram, TikTok. You're getting in front of people when they're going to, maybe they're researching something, they're talking to their friends about something, they're looking for kitten videos, those kinds of things. We can retarget them based on if they have searched for things that of your keywords, if they've visited your website, if they've seen your ad on Google. We can get back in front of them on Facebook. So we're just reminding them who you are and that they had a need, right? Want to be engaged and be creative. These are cold audiences, so they don't know you, but maybe they're looking into you. So it would be very helpful for you to be there and be involved. And you can see the average cost of Facebook from $1 to $3 a click on average, depending on, a click is not a lead. A click is someone who's clicked on your ad. So even if you secure one client from these ads, it'd be worth the effort, right? I mean, it's a significant amount of traffic that comes through Facebook and Instagram. So that's definitely someplace you would want to be if you're advertising, especially for, like I said, for retargeting ads. People who have visited you, people who are doing research on your particular keywords. And just as an instance, what we've seen with Facebook ads is a client closed 6 cases in 21 days, which was $30,000 in retainer revenue. There's a lot of leads, but out of those leads, closed 6 cases, and there is, through the following month of November, I believe she closed 20 more. So Facebook ads are quite effective. And I would suggest that if you're not running Meta ads, I would suggest that you do that. So a lot of pay-per-click campaigns do fail, and this is why Google is a bit of a monster in the different things it can do. They're trying to make it easier by giving you more AI choices so that they're doing more work for you, which in the end kind of ends up giving more money to Google and their profit margin and into your campaign. But a lot of people only set up one ad group. So if you're doing multiple services that you're advertising for, you should have multiple ad groups. You shouldn't just have one. And specific text ads and landing pages for specific groups. So if you are running a auto accident campaign and a motorcycle accident campaign, those should each have different landing pages, because those are distinctly different accidents, right? So the people coming to those landing pages are going to be looking for something more different visually. And also, one of the problems is not using negative keywords. Now that would be things that you don't want. So perhaps you don't want pro bono attorney or whatever particular accident you don't want. I know some personal injury attorneys don't want slip and falls. So you might want to make sure you put a negative keyword for the things that you do not want clicks coming through, okay? And also, no ongoing maintenance is a big reason campaigns fail. So we need to make sure that you maintain it, that you're constantly working with the campaign to make sure it's going in the direction you want it to go in. And then, of course, no strong call to action or offer on the landing page. People need to be told what to do, right? You need to say, click this button, book a call now, call us now, book an appointment, book your free consultation. So those kind of things, have those clear call to actions on your landing page if you're running paid search. So just as an example, what can happen is something as simple as, out of 224 leads, average cost per lead was $40.23. This client ended up getting 90 booked appointments, and out of those booked appointments closed 45 cases at $2,500 a case. So that's an 8x ROI. Those are really good cases, and 45 cases in that period of time is pretty impressive. So paid ads is definitely something you should be working on if you're not. Other clients, we're looking at conversion rates of $24 cost per click, $54 cost per acquisition. It's a family law attorney, 60 days of data. And then if you have a dashboard, so you take these leads that came in, and you have a dashboard that helps you manage those using some automations, automated text, those types of things that nurture those leads, as well as a call center or intake service that can get to these leads very quickly. You're going to be more likely to close these deals. Now, when it comes to leads, a lot of people think the leads are terrible, when if you really look at the issue, it's not the leads that are terrible, it's the intake speed, the intake time. So those are the things you want to make sure that you are taking care of. So quantify that, planning in your goals. How fast are you getting to leads right now? Are you getting to leads within the first 5 minutes, the first 15 minutes, or the first 4 hours? Maybe, I've talked to people that they don't get to the leads for 24 to 72 hours. That's too long. People are looking for a solution. They're going away. They're not going to be waiting for somebody else, waiting for you to get around to calling them. So let's talk a little bit about database reactivation. So this is another really great marketing activity that you can do. Just think of it as an email newsletter, right? Anything that you get out in front of your current database and let them know things that are happening in your office. Do you have a new team member? Any of these types of things. There's lots of reasons to reach out. Have you done any charity work? Are you involved? Are you sponsoring any events? Anything going on? Is there new legal ruling that's happening in your area? There's lots of reason to do a monthly webinar. Monthly e-newsletter. Especially even if you're doing like monthly articles or weekly articles, pick one and make that be the center of your newsletter. You can do fancy, pretty ones like here on the right. And what we want to do is in this, you want to send it out on a regular basis. That's why I would not suggest weekly. That's just too much for a lot of people. But if you did monthly, that would be a great, easy way to get your name and your firm out in front of your database once a month. I have known people who do it like every 6 months. That's fine. Just make sure you do some sort of database reactivation by reaching out to your potential clients or your past clients who might know someone who needs your services. Do that, and you can do it by a phone program. Have somebody in your office reach out periodically to each client or past client. Do it by email or even a text message. A lot of people love communicating by text now. Put a database in the chat, or DBase or something like that in the chat that says, let me know if you're doing something periodically to reach out to your list of clients or past clients. Okay, excellent. Yeah, it's not something a lot of people do, but it's extremely powerful. And so we do this for our clients. What we do is we try to do, if they're open to it, we'll do a database reactivation campaign before, as we're getting the ads ready to run. And in this one particular case, Jerry was able to retain 3 clients from our reactivation. She got 2 small cases and 1 large case for potentially $40,000 in potential retainers in just the database reactivation before her ads even started. So it could be a great ROI for you. And just if you have this as part of your business, and it's very simple to set up an email newsletter and just get that going every month, and just keep your name out there and your news out there. So let's talk about your website and what makes a successful website. Again, all of this comes down to, your online presence, giving the best of information possible about you, and getting the lead the most easiest way to reach you. And you can take a screenshot of this real quick. These are 12 elements that will enhance the conversion of your website. And we don't have to go through every single one of these, but talking to your ideal avatar. Don't talk about your necessarily your credentials or stuff at the top above the fold of your website. Talk about what you do for them, how you help them, benefits, not features, right? And of course, reviews. Always have social proof. It helps to have video and multimedia on it. So live chat. So take a screenshot of this if you like, and then we'll go through some examples of what these look like. This website is set up to convert because look what we have. We've got a form on the home page right at the top. We've got the click to call button in the top right corner and a live chat. And then of course, as you scroll down the page, the live chat button on the left stays there for you as well. So this firm is having 3 ways to reach out immediately, which is perfect. People need to have an easy way to reach you. So, and then, by looking at this, and you can see over the course of like the year, how many leads did you get from your website? So all of this culminates together. Did it work out that you had, what was your investment, number of leads, that sort of thing. So keep track of these numbers. How did your website perform? How many sessions did you get? Can you see how long they're spending on your site? How many forms were filled out? How many leads? What's your click to call? So if you've got a real good handle on your website and it's set up, you can keep these numbers, and then you can see how it grows better throughout the year as you're doing more and more work. Again, more, the SEO summary from your website. You should easily be able to pull this out of your Google Analytics, or there's many other tools out there to be able to get this information. Again, this comes back to knowing your numbers, knowing where you are now, and knowing where you want to go and what do you need to do to get there. So another website that's optimized for conversion, this particular client, they have, or this particular firm, they have a chat widget as well as a text widget on their website. So you want to go straight to SMS, that's perfect. You want to talk to an operator where they're actually texting with you, go there. It's very, very easy. Video and multimedia. Video helps people stay on your website longer, which helps Google say your website must be more relevant because they spent more time on it, okay? So by putting an intro video of what you do, that sort of thing, and then of course the click to call button at the top, all this information, the chat in the bottom corner, this one's hitting on all the drums right now. So, but yeah, keep in mind a video on the home page is one of the better things that you can do. Then of course, showcase social proof. So have on your website your reviews. You can get widgets that pop them in like that. Or you can just copy and paste, screenshot and paste specific ones you want. But have your reviews on there so people don't have to go to Google to see your reviews. That's social proof. That always helps to showcase that you are relevant and that you are reputable. So again, the fundamentals, top right corner, you want that click to call button. And top right corner will show up also at the top on mobile, and that's why that's important. Then of course have a form. Have the chat, have the text. As many ways to make it easy for people to reach you as soon as they come to your website. That's going to help your website to convert much better. Again, I love these AI, or little video chats, not AI, little video chats on the right-hand side where it's actually an attorney speaking to the person visiting. So that's really, really good. So absolutely have a live agent that's available to answer their information, answer their questions, and possibly even go so far as to book appointments. So we have the tools to make an AI agent on your website that can qualify based on your qualifications of the case, and then book them on your calendar. So definitely look for that. So that's how we can get your website to convert. And then of course, just some final key ideas here. And again, feel free to screenshot this page. This is what we talked about and walked through. a lot of that, get your phone number on there. So these are ideas. So this will be something that you should have a look at and go through and make a little checklist to go, yeah, I have that, I need that. And spend the next, say, 30 days and get your website updated little bits at a time. You don't have to take on a big project at one time if you don't have the resources to outsource it, or you don't want to. But definitely start working on your website and get these key things important done. Okay, and your reputation. Let's talk about your reputation and how that helps you online. Now, let's talk about your reputation. So we all know, thanks to Amazon, we've all been conditioned into looking at reviews anytime you're going to do business with someone or purchase something. So reviews, your reputation is absolutely important. So what we want to do is you want to make sure that on your Google business profile, and hopefully on other places around the web as well, like on your Facebook, maybe on Yelp, that you have some reviews, but the majority of the reviews are on Google. And of course you want to make sure that they're real reviews. And if you have less than 10 reviews right now, I would suggest that you go to maybe your current service providers and get some character reviews. But definitely work it into your business processes to get a review for every case you finish. Make it part of your plan, make it part of your team's plan that they know to do this, and ask for a review. And ask for the reviews a few times, because sometimes one time is not enough times to get a review. And just ask multiple times and get those reviews. And then, of course, reply to each review. That's a super important thing when it comes to Google. It shows that you are interested in the future client's experience and the user experience on their website. So definitely reply to every review, good and bad. There are tools that help you automate this, and you may be using Clio or MyCase or something like that. We use Caseload Amp. There's lots of tools out there to help you do that, but it's important that you get it done. And then, of course, prominently display them on your website. You can do them as a little pop-up in the corner. You can have a section on your home page. This gives you social proof, and you definitely want to showcase those. So now let's talk about a little bit about automation, of how we can make your life a little bit easier. And with automation, you can use to capture leads, to nurture leads, to communicate with your clients, like the database reactivation we talked about. You can automate a lot of that. So those are things you want to look at, is what can you automate to save time, nurture leads, and reach your clients, current clients, future clients even easier, and help them move forward with using your service. So the problem is that 50 to 70% of inbound leads are not converted. Maybe they didn't get reached out to in time, your web form fails to convert, and according to the BBB, 67% of inbound calls go unanswered. So simply by answering your phone more often, you can grow your firm. So think about where you're dropping the ball, whether you know it or not. A lot of firms have an intake problem, and that's that the leads just aren't reached out in time. And so see that you have that. See that you've got callbacks set up, that you've got someone dedicated to reaching clients or leads quickly. Again, 15 minutes should be, faster is obviously better. And, you need to follow up with them multiple times, not just that one-time call. Follow up with them 5 to 9 times before booking. It's like we have a very short attention span nowadays, and people get busy. If they leave you a message, they get busy with whatever is going on in their life. So call them back at different times of the day, text them, email them, but reach out to them. If they've already reached out to you, they know they have a problem and they need to solve it. Be their solution. And obviously think about texting. A lot of people prefer to text when they are having a conversation, especially the early parts of the conversation. So you can leverage marketing automation to follow up with web forms within 30 seconds to 2 minutes, immediately after a form is submitted. You can also, if someone comes through, say, a landing page or a Facebook ad, same thing, automated follow-up there. And you can set it to automate emails and text messages periodically over the course of the next 4 days. And you can also do a missed call text back. So if someone phones into your office, you missed that call, you can immediately have a text go out to them and say, sorry, we missed your call, we'll give you a call right back, something like that. So those are things that can instantly reach them and say, we're here, we just missed your call, but we're here for you. And again, things like Caseload Amp, Clio, MyCase, any of those kind of do it, This is our program where we set up as soon as a lead comes in. You get a text message and an email with the lead information. They get a text saying you're going to be calling them, and then we lead them through some workflows depending on what they came through as, which lead, which funnel they came through, so that we can keep them engaged with you as your team gets to the lead. But it's important, absolutely important, that these leads get taken care of very, very quickly. And intake, again, is one of the problems that we've noticed working through with hundreds of law firms. Is we have instituted and created a call center that's a 24/7 dedicated call center for law firms. It's bilingual, and we catch calls as they come in. We can even do a program where if you say press 1 for a new customer, that goes to our system, and live people talk to them 24/7. So if you've got on Google, your Google business profile, that you're open 24/7, and you start getting calls that you're not answering after hours, you're going to get less ranking because of that. So you need to make sure that you are answering those calls. If you need help with a dedicated call center to handle that for you, reach out. I'm happy to chat with you about that. And again, our service is bilingual and it's 24/7. So let's go into optimizing your results, and let's look at ranking for this. So let's rate yourself. Looking at the things that we've talked about, what I want you to do is think about these things, these driving leads, maximizing conversions, and optimizing your ROI. So we're talking about these 3 pillars. Where do you rank, red, green, or yellow, on any of these things, and what do you need to put time and effort into fixing? Okay, as we look to 2026, you know what's been working and what's not been working in 2025. So let's go into 2026 by starting to fix these things. It's not something you have to fix overnight. If you can, you should, but you need to pick things that's most important to move forward with first and improve upon. Okay, so let's talk about your ad spend and what your total spend on marketing. So again, we went over this earlier. The National Law Review has already stated that law firms should spend between 8 and 18% of their projected revenue. That, it's to decide on your goal revenue, and that's where you pick what your marketing is. If you're not spending any money on marketing, if you're waiting for word of mouth, you're not growing. That's inconsistent growth. That's unpredictable. If you want to plan to hire another associate, maybe take a vacation or take Fridays off, you need to have that as a goal and know what kind of marketing do I need to do to grow to that number so I can have these benefits. And our workbook, again, has the sheet in it that can help you do that. You can put in your annual projected revenue, what you should be, what your marketing budget should be, and work that out. See where you should be spending your money and decide how these numbers work out for you. And again, this is in the plan. There's a spreadsheet there. It's a Google sheet. You can play with it. It's got all the formulas already laid out in it. And so you can get a good idea of where you should be. Okay, so average cost per lead. Now clearly, you don't know if you're not marketing, so we want to see what your average cost per lead is. If you have been marketing, you can look at, say, you were paying on Google PPC $78 a lead, maybe local service ads. So if you know what your cost per lead is and your blended average, now you can look forward and see, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to spend? If this is my budget, what should I expect? Then, of course, the longer you run your ads, the better the ads start performing and the cheaper that your leads are going to be. Now, certain times of the year, like holiday times, a lot of the times the leads are going to get more expensive. So there's a lot of things that go into the cost per lead, but knowing these numbers will help you hit your goals. Okay, just as an example, here's a client that we ended up with 210 organic calls out of 1,119 leads. So 134 from PPC, 409 calls from Google Business Profile. That's a lot of leads. Average cost per lead was $10.85. So that's a pretty significant number. That's a really good cost per lead. And then having that many people that you can actually talk to makes a big, big difference. So ROI. Let's talk about ROI a little bit. This one's kind of funny. I love this saying, half my advertising spend is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half. That's what a lot of people run into. They just don't know where their ad spend is going or where the money is, and knowing your numbers is going to help with that. And what we do is we provide you a dashboard with a sales pipeline so you can see from the time the lead comes in or it's an incoming call, if they booked an appointment, and then if you accepted the case. So those are the types of things that's going to help you keep track and know where you are at all times, and not lose a lead that just slipped through the cracks that might have been, that record-winning case. So knowing your numbers is incredibly important. You can get, also get ROI insights reports when you have a good database dashboard that helps you keep track of all of this. And so knowing their numbers. I know I keep saying that, but so many people don't know their numbers. So looking at your ROI now, okay, so we've gone through the whole process. Now again, let's go back and think about rating yourself. Where are you needing help? Where are you not doing anything? What could you improve upon? So take this screenshot this if you like. This is a screen, just sit down and analyze. Where are you? Where do you want to go? And what do you need to improve upon? So is there, I know we've covered a lot of stuff as far as from, organic to paid, all the way through the things that will help you be more known locally and get better leads and better cases. Any takeaways you guys want to put in the chat? Anything that you are definitely going to need to focus on? What's the lowest hanging fruit that'll bring you better results coming into Q1 of 2026? Okay, I'm seeing a few things. That's excellent. Okay, good. Yeah, so keep that, keep this page right here. Like I said, screenshot that if you can. And keep that and go through it and literally rate yourself. What do you need to work on? Okay, now let's talk about planning your focus. So we've talked a bit about what things are doing, why you need to look at it, knowing your numbers. So now what we want to look at is decide on what you want to do. Are you say a family law attorney and you want to focus on high net worth individuals' divorces, or do you want to focus on something else? So decide on the offer or your message or your service that you want to focus on. It can change seasonally, and then you can set up a spreadsheet and do these for social media. Decide on your offer for your Google pay-per-click. Maybe you're going to do a special email newsletter focusing on certain things, certain times of the year. So make that a plan of focus for your messaging, and make that an editorial calendar, if you will, that will be throughout your firm. Everybody's going to be focused on these things. And then we're looking at Peter. He's been working with us, and we've helped him get almost 800 cases for almost $4 million, and that's workers' comp, which is probably a lot more, since workers' comp is like personal injury in some instances, that some of the cases are much, much larger. And of course, Edward, we helped him get he's closing 5 cases a week, and he ended up hiring an extra 4 paralegals to help manage all of those leads that are coming through and those new cases that we're bringing in. So what would it mean to you if you had this type of lead flow? Would you see those goals, your personal goals for 2026 and 2027 and going forward? Would you be able to reach your goals? Hiring more people, hiring another associate that takes the time off of your hands. So think about what it would mean to you to have these items taken care of. And if you want to chat with me, just book a call. lawmarketingzone.com/book a call. I can help you decide where you are and where you want to go, and determine a plan of action to get you there. So definitely do that. If you don't know where you are, or if you'd like to get a new assessment of where you are, let us run the audits for you. I'm happy to do ranking reports so you can see where you are, and we can even track these back. If you've got, we can actually look and see, where you did over the past year. So you can see what direction your website's going in. What about your Google business profile? How is your visibility? So yeah, if you would like to get a visibility report, go book a call with me. I'll grab the information that we need to do that, and then we'll run the audits for you and get those to you with some actual actions that you can take now to improve your online presence. And again, this is the 3 pillars that we work with. Like we talked about, driving leads, maximizing conversion, and optimizing your results. So we've walked through this whole 9 steps that if you get these right, you're going to see your growth triple. And that's what we want to help you with. That's what this webinar is helping about, to explain these different pieces. And I hope that's been extremely helpful for you today. So what are your top action items? So if you're willing to share in the chat, what action items are you going to work on first? So say first 3 things you're going to take on when it comes to that rating yourself and improving. Give that some thought. Make a list. And if you want to share it in the chat, I'd love to see it. Okay. All right. I'm seeing a few ideas. Excellent. Great. I love to see the interaction here. That's great. Thank you. So your action list for 2026. Immediate priorities. Update your content strategy. Answer-based content. Implement schema. That's hugely important for letting the search engines and the AI engines know what your website is about, who you are, and then even your blog and different pages on your website can have schema. Increase your video production. Do more videos. It's not that hard. Do simple, short videos of your FAQs, of what you do, not focusing on you, but how you help your clients. Set up your proper tracking. We talked about that. Marketing automation so that you get to leads really quickly. And budget realistically. Okay, are you budgeting what the National Law Review suggests to reach your goal? And then, get your website squared away. That's going to be really important because that's the first, your Google business profile and your website are the first things that give people the first impression of who you are. So you want to make sure you do that. Set up retargeting, your social media, content marketing, review your reputation and make sure that you're replying to all of your reviews. Okay? Handle everything you can to make sure anytime that someone looks for you, Googles you, looks at your website, they see exactly what you want them to see, how you can help them, and that you're available now. And if you want, I've got a free, this is the ultimate internet marketing checklist for law firms. So you can get it in our the website lawmarketingzone.com/2026-plan. And you can download that. You don't have to give me an email address or anything for that. And you can walk through that and just see where you are. Because we want to make sure you know where you are, and we can go from there, and you can reach your 2026 goals. So what we covered is about knowing your numbers, setting your goals, your targets for the year, aligning your KPIs, tracking your outcomes, and then plan your budget, your channels, and keeping in mind important trends. Because what we want you to do is set up massive success for 2026 and beyond. Okay? So what's next? Well, in this point, I feel like you've got 3 options. You know the importance of everything we've talked about. So you have 3 options. You can just do nothing, and you can hope your referral sources keep bringing you leads. Again, not predictable, but you can do that. You can DIY. Like I said, I wrote a book on it. You can walk through the book. You can come back and view this webinar again. You can get the audits to see where you are, those kinds of things. Or you can schedule a 15-minute discovery call with me and see if we're a good fit. I'd love to have a chance to chat with you to see if it makes sense to work together and help you, or do the audits, right? I'd love to do the audits for you to show you where you are and help you with some key actions to take now, or see if you would like us to handle this work for you. This is, the easy button is to hand it off to someone who specializes with it, because when I needed a divorce back in the day, I did not do it myself. I hired an attorney to do it. So there's some things you want to hire somebody to do, and that's just get it done. So, but if you want some reports to show you where you are, I'm happy to get that done for you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. If I didn't get to anything during the webinar here, I will drop your email in the chat with your question. I will certainly get back with you on those directly, or you can message me on LinkedIn, either one. I thank you for your time. I really appreciate you guys being here. And if you have any questions of any part of the 2026 plan, again, download the workbook and that sort of thing, and let's do that. And that way you know where you are. And yeah, I appreciate your time. And again, if you want the audits to see where you are, just book a call with me and we'll get those to you. And you can see your AI visibility, competitive overview, all of those kinds of things. Okay? Again, thank you so much. My name is Marilyn Jenkins, and I'm with Law Marketing Zone. And we look forward to working with you in 2026. Thank you so much.